Hi everyone, welcome back to Storm in a Teacup. I'm Tegan and welcome to Serious Talk. In Serious Talk, I'll be reviewing a series of books and letting you know my thoughts. And for the first Serious Talk, I will be reviewing the Guardian series by M.J Stevens. M.J Stevens is a local Brisbane author, and I've had the pleasure of meeting her at Supernova, which is where I got my hands on these books for the first time. Now, the Guardian series is a three-part series, all told from the point of view of our main character, Malia. Before I get into the books themselves, I first want to have a little chat about the world the author has created. All the books take place in Celeste, and the majority in the capital city of Parados. Now, not only has she created a whole new world, she's also created a religion to go along with it. Now, Celeste is ruled by a royal family known as the Guardians, and all of the Guardians have access to magic through power stones that they have. And all of the magic that they use is element-based, so water, wind, fire, and air. Okay, so now let's get into the books. Now, the first book in this series is Bound, and Bound is where we get to meet our main character, Malia, who is the voice of all three books. Now, Malia hasn't exactly had an easy life. Her family is quite poor and they live in this rundown town. One day, Malia stops to help a young man who she sees get shot. And that young man turns out to be a successor, which is a prince in the royal family. His name's Leo. Receiving her help, Leo becomes quite infatuated by her and decides that he wants her. Now, Guardian law is once they choose someone to be their bride, that's that. That person doesn't exactly have a say in the matter. So, Leo chooses her to be his bride, and because she's bound by the laws of the Guardians, she doesn't really have a choice. So now, obviously, you can tell that these two are going to get off to quite a rocky start. It's not pleasant how they come to be together. She has to move into the palace, which is obviously a huge culture shock for her, and she has to learn the ways of the Guardians and the history of Celeste. While she is there, an old enemy of Celeste shows its face again, and she's forced to make quite a big decision, which I'm not going to spoil. The second book in this series is Divided, and in this book, basically all hell breaks loose. The mechs, which are the old enemy I mentioned for the first book, have managed to drive the Guardians out of the palace and out of the main city and taken over Celeste. Mechs are basically these kind of cyborg hybrids, I guess is the best way to explain them. And they have like guns for arms and they're very dangerous. The book is very much them trying to survive, trying to come back together and trying to get rid of and trying to defeat the mechs. It's action-packed, there's a lot of drama, and a lot of very hard decisions for our main character. In this book, we find that Malia has some very special powers. She can actually talk to spirits. Now, in the religion that the author has created for this world, every person has a spirit, but you can't see them. And our main character can, which gives her an advantage. But obviously, it's quite a confronting power for her to come to terms with. The third and final book in the series is Liberated, and this book is very much about rebuilding after the War of the Second. In this book, our main character also has to deal with her powers. So not only can she see the spirits, she's becoming what is known as a speaker. And in this book, we see her seeking out other speakers to learn about her powers. And while all this is happening, there are some very weird things happening with the weather. Storms, massive fires and floods that can't quite be explained. Now, unfortunately for the Guardians and for the people of Celeste, what's causing this crazy weather isn't natural. It's the Doctor, the leader of the mechs, once again causing chaos. And once again, it's up to the Guardians to stop her. So that is just a very, very basic overview of all three of the books. I didn't want to give away too much because I highly recommend that you check these books out. Now, I haven't touched too much on the finer details of the books. There's a lot of characters you're going to get to meet, and like I mentioned in the first book, our two mains, Malia and Leo, their relationship has a very rocky start as he forces her into it. But throughout the books, it blossoms into something actually quite beautiful. Obviously, when you're writing from the point of view of a main character, it's really important that that character has a strong voice, and this one does. Now, I don't want to say too much more because I really don't want to give anything away, because I highly recommend this series, and I don't want to spoil it for you if you do read it. I also wanted to say a really big thank you to MJ for sending me a copy of Liberated. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the last Supernova due to work commitments, so it was very sweet of you, and just thank you so much. That's all for Series Talk. I do recommend you go check out these books yourself. All the information for the series and the author will be in the syllabus below.